michakato ya uchaguzi. Fanya uamuzi wa busara. Usikose kutazama Kenya ya Amua kila Jumapili kwenye runinga uipendayo ya KBC Channel 1.
Mommy, please. I can't believe you had the nerve to lie to me.
Forgive me, Mom. I know. I should have done everything in a very different way, but trust me that I didn't have a choice.
Of course you did.
But what happened with Renee got me thinking. It made me say that you were absolutely right, and I can't afford to lose them because of a situation like this.
I can't do half and half. I'm either with you or I'm not.
I'm old enough. I have to live my own life. You have to live yours too. Listen, we're going to live in the same city. We can see each other often, but you will have your own home.
Listen.
No, it has been decided. Is that clear?
That there's a huge number of women and girls who do not have access to comprehensive information on sexual and reproductive health care and the rights.
Children who are getting pregnant at 9 years. So it is important for parents to speak to their children as early as possible, as early as 8 years old. They understand a lot.
And then it was a difficult pregnancy. I gave birth. The labor was traumatizing. It led to postpartum depression.
For government to give people quality and affordable service, then it means we have to demand for it.
I really do hope that we're going to find a solution where such situations will not be seen anymore.
It has been a wonderful, very cool, but unfortunately slightly humid Saturday. We expect the rains, but it looks like maybe the cooler weather, the cooler climate is now coming in. Well, good evening. My name is Catherine Kasavuli, and this is the Legends Edition. Of course, on tonight's Legends Edition, we're going to be talking to a wonderful legend who has been with us, who has influenced many in the media industry. I am actually her protege. So please stay tuned. Tonight, we host none other than Mrs. Rose Lukalo Owino. First, let's take a look at the highlights. The list keeps growing. 11 to fight for number 2 slot in Raila's Azimio la Umoja coalition. I have never absconded duty, Deputy President says. He is still available to help the President deliver on his mandate. And Kenya's moment of glory. President Uhuru Kenyatta says country ready to hold World Athletics Championships in 2025. Thank you for joining us on KBC Channel 1. This is the Legends Edition. And of course, every Saturday we feature a living legend. As I told you a little earlier on, as I was opening this bulletin, our legend this Saturday is none other than Rose Lukalo Owino, a great media personality, a wonderful veteran journalist who is still going strong and teaching many the ethics of broadcasting. Well, I'm sure you're wondering what is happening. You know, today the desk is very, very busy. Well, last night I was feted an award, and I say this very, very humbly, and I don't take credit for it. It's been 42 years in the media industry. Of course, you know my name, Catherine Kasavuli. I give all glory to God. I don't take credit for anything. There have been so many people who've worked behind me. We have had cameras, soundmen, lightsmen, linesmen. We have had news directors. So when you see me on the screen, please do understand there are quite a number of people who are working round the clock to just ensure that this bulletin is done excellently. And I say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come back to KBC and to be of service to you all these years. It's now 42 years, and I can only thank God. So I give him all the glory, and I thank you all for just being wonderful and supportive, and for watching the bulletins and appreciating the work that we put out there to you. So do have a wonderful evening. Please stay with me on this bulletin. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mwaura. The award is to Catherine Kasavuli. It's an achievement award presented to Catherine Kasavuli in appreciation of your outstanding service and contribution to journalism. So thank you for the recognition. This comes from the Media Council of Kenya. Thank you so much, and thank you to all you viewers. Sorry for that long introduction. Well, let's start with our main news. The selection panel for the running mate of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential nominee Raila Odinga has reviewed its list of shortlisted candidates to include 4 more hopefuls. According to Dr. Noah Wekesa, the decision was arrived at following complaints that some applications had not been considered by the panel. The latest candidates to be shortlisted are Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, ODM Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya, NAC Party Leader Charity Ngilu, and Nakuru Governor Lee Kenyanjui.
The selection panel, tasked to find a suitable running mate for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential nominee Raila Odinga, held a crisis meeting Saturday, which resulted in the review of its list of shortlisted candidates. According to the Dr. Noah Wekesa-led team, the list of 7 shortlisted candidates has now been revised to 11 to include the names of Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, ODM Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya, NAC Party Leader Charity Ngilu, and Nakuru Governor Lee Kenyanjui.
The panel received various complaints from nominating constituent parties who said that their applications had not been considered and their candidate had been unfairly locked out. Upon inquiry into the matter this morning, the panel had established that there were applications that had been submitted to the campaign secretariat and had unfortunately not been forwarded to the panel, as no such a communication had been anticipated. The panel has considered the matter this afternoon and has reviewed the shortlist made yesterday.
Other candidates shortlisted to defend their interest to become Raila Odinga's number 2 are Wiper Party Leader Kalonzo Musyoka, Sabina Chege, and Peter Kenneth, who are nominated by the Jubilee Party. NARC Kenya Party leader Martha Karua, Senator Gideon Moi, who was nominated by his KANU party, Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, and Stephen Tarus of the National Liberal Party. The shortlisted candidates will appear before the 7-member panel on 9th of May 2022.
The panel has established the criteria and modalities that will be used to evaluate the applications that have been submitted and to determine the best 3 candidates whose names shall be submitted in order of priority to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate.
The committee is however not sure whether Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka will honor their invitations.
We are available to meet any other candidates that are willing. I thought Kalonzo wanted to be the deputy president of this country.
Kalonzo on Saturday told his supporters in Mombasa County that he will not appear before the committee. For Legends Edition, I am Safin Acheng Oma.
Deputy President William Ruto now says he is ready to resume his role as the chief advisor to the president if called upon to do so. Deputy President Ruto, who was in Bungoma, maintained that he is ready to resign from the government. Achola Simon with the details.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Vice President of the Republic of Kenya.
The Deputy President William Ruto, who was in Bungoma County as part of his economic forum meetings, used the platform to spell out the plans his administrations have for the limping sugar sector in the country.
In the first 100 days ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, tutaondoa madeni yote kwa kampuni zote za miwa ambazo ziko na shareholding ya serikali.
Ruto said should his administration ascend to power, he will purchase new state-of-the-art milling machines to capacitate state-owned cane millers as a way to make them competitive in the market.
Hiyo kiwanda hapa inaendeshwa na factory yenyewe ni machine ambayo ni ya zamani sana. Hiyo machine iko pale, tutapatia mtu mwingine ama tuuze, tununue machine mpya na tuweke hapa Nzoi. Ndio nianze kusaga hiyo miwa bila ya kuharibika every week ama every month, na tuhakikisha kwamba pia nyinyi kama wakulima mnapata mbegu ambayo imefanyiwa utafiti na Sugar Research Institute.
Mimi ningetaka ku-recommend ya kwamba hii sukari, kampuni ya sukari ya Nzoia, to write off ile deni iko nayo, halafu after write off ikiwa to write off ya mwisho, kutoka hapo tupatie Rusaka, to transfer ownership ikuje kwa serikali ya Bungoma. Kama Rusaka ataka kuyaangusha, iyaangusha mtoto yao. Sisi watu wa Gatunu tunajuaje mambo ya sukari kwa.
He is also promising to decisively deal with cartels in the agriculture sector that have made it impossible for farmers to access affordable farm inputs. But he would also use the platform to delve yet again into claims that he has deserted his role as the president's chief advisor. The DP saying he was ready to assume his roles again if called upon, but hastened to add that it was unfair for his detractors to blame him for alleged government failures.
Mimi tunataka niombe mtu asinilaumu mahali ambapo mimi sikukuwepo. Wakati nilikuwepo namsaidia rafiki yangu Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, hakuna mahali ilitokea pengo yoyote.
Wewe usitishike. Nimeona some people telling you that you must resign. Tell them they did not put you in that office. You are put there by the people of Kenya. Ukiamua mimi nataka kujiunga na kundi hili, unasikia watu wanaanza kulalamika kule. Kwani mimi sina akili yangu?
Wananchi wameniambia enda, tunataka ushirikiane na Weta na Musalia na mkiongozwa na William Ruto. Iko makosa gani hapo? Mimi nimesikiza vile mwananchi ameniambia.
After the forum, the Kenya Kwanza team held a number of rallies in Busia and Vihiga counties before they conclude their 3-day tour of Western Kenya region on Sunday in Trans Nzoia County. Achola Simon, Legends Edition, Vihiga County.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has dismissed claims that he has taken up a job not meant for him. In an apparent reference to the Deputy President, Dr. Matiang'i said those claiming that he had taken over their job should come clean and explain themselves. Speaking in Kisii, the Interior Cabinet Secretary instead termed the accusations pure propaganda for cheap sympathy ahead of the August 9 polls.
Dr. Fred Matiang'i was in Bomachoge, Borabu to preside over the launch of Kenyenya SDA Church, accused a section of political leadership of using his name to seek sympathy.
This dishonesty characterizes the behavior of those people. And that's why I keep saying all the time, it's laughable that they are seeking public leadership. Very dishonest people and then very hypocritical who believe in just lying to look for cheap and petty sympathy.
In what seems to have been directed to Deputy President, Dr. Matiang'i, however, said that time will come when he will speak up his mind over political developments in the country.
Every time we have been invited to street fights and street talks, we have restrained ourselves from playing in the mud and playing in those kinds of arguments because the result and effect may actually not be good for the country. So for now, I will remain restrained.
And Mandera County gubernatorial aspirant in UDA ticket Nur Ali Adan has urged area residents to interrogate pledges being made by elected leaders to make good choices.
If you want to live as Mandarian people, don't vote for money, because once you vote for money, at most you are given 5,000 and somebody will rule you with that 5,000 for the next 5 years.
Addressing a section of Council of Elders in Nairobi, Ali says the promises being made now are the same old ones and cautioned locals not to be swayed by leaders who have nothing to offer.
Secondly, don't vote for tribe, because if you say this is my community will get somebody of theirs that they know that they are going to surround them, that he signs a tie.
Itakuwa naomba wa ndugu zetu Per Ali ambao karibu 50 tangu Kenya anapata uhuru, ambao sisi alikuwa tuko tu nyuma yao, leo hawa vile waangalie mambo, urudi kwa nyuma yao, ajenge sisi, awachie sisi yokiti.
Meanwhile, maendeleo ya wanawake organization Coast Region has fronted NARC Kenya party leader Martha Karua as suitable running mate to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate. Led by Maiwo National Treasurer Agnes Viola, the women said Karua has been tried and tested and has the experience to take up the number 2 job.
Ili tuweze kufanya naye kazi pamoja. Itakuwa vizuri sana na pia itazidi kutupa motisha kujua kina mama tumo ndani kabisa.
Tungependa women of integrity. Hii ni nchi na inataka iwe na wamama ambao wako na mfano mzuri, role models for this nation. Maendeleo stands for that.
In Nairobi, a section of Azimio aspirants from Nairobi and Kiambu counties have challenged the clergy to lead the congregants in making informed political choices in the August 9 polls. Led by Bishop Elizabeth Thuya, the aspirants vowed to campaign for Raila Odinga in his quest to succeed President Kenyatta.
Kuwaeleza wacha tuchague kiongozi ambaye akona maono ya hii country yetu. Tuwache kuwa tribal, tuwache kudanganywa ati mambo ya dynasty. Pigania ukoloni, Raila alituletea katiba mpya. Raila alikuwa anapigania BBI, irudi na ilikuwa inaangazia kwanza especially Mount Kenya, na tunaomba kwa unyenyekevu tunasema wacha tupatie Raila.
Presidential aspirant Jimmy Wanjigi has taken his campaign to Voi, Taita Taveta County, where he met supporters and grassroots leaders and aspirants on Safina Party. Wanjigi told rallies in Voi that it was time to focus on the 5.4 million educated but jobless people spread across the country.
This election is not about zones, it's not about tribe. It is about our lives, all of us, because I can assure you, there is nobody who is not facing a modicum of pain.
Ben Chumba, Legends Edition.
Mike Sonko's attempts to launch his gubernatorial bid under the Wiper Party ticket in Mombasa Saturday hit a brick wall after he was denied access to Tononoka grounds. Sonko, who was in the company of the party's leader Kalonzo Musyoka, had to contend with roadside rallies promising to change the face of Mombasa once elected governor.
Day 2 of the Wiper Party tour of Mombasa County. Tononoka grounds was a no-go zone after police in their numbers cordoned off the area to stop the planned Wiper Party rally. But despite being denied what would be the big day for Mike Sonko, the group led by the party leader Kalonzo Musyoka traversed Shanzu, Bombolulu, Kongoea, and made a brief stop at the Tononoka grounds where they addressed the residents present.
Mimi ningependa sasa kuwaomba hapa Tononoka, sisi tulikuja tuwaambie pole, mkutano hauendelei, tufanye tena Jumapili ijayo ama after kama 2 weeks. Ilikuwa tunapita tu na barabara, unaona hakuna jukwaa, hakuna sound. Lakini tumeshukuru sana kwa haya mapenzi ambayo mmetuonesha wananchi wa Mombasa.
Wamefunga Tononoka lakini tunapita tu. Tena nayo anasema Tononoka ni kila mahali. Tutaenda saa hii Tononoka. Wangapi wanasema tuende Tononoka? Na tutarudi. Yaani kusikia tu Sonko amekuja, wamepatwa na tumbo imeanza kuhara. Na mambo bado.
The group claiming that Mombasa County has for a long time been under poor leadership, but promising change under the leadership of Sonko.
Fratele kualeteni the liberator, yani rescue, ile ana rescue watu wa Mombasa kwa njia zote, na ajali kama mali hana mali, yeye anapeana yote. Kwa hivyo sasa wakati umefika, muone yale yanafanyika Mombasa yatafanyika Kenya nzima.
Serikali ya Wiper imekuja Mombasa kuokoa watu wa Mombasa. Mnakubaliana na sisi?
Sonko promising to exempt small-scale traders from paying taxes and will also set aside some funds that will be used to empower the unemployed, youth and women in the county if elected governor.
Sisi tunajali maslahi ya mpiga yote kura ndani ya Mombasa County. Ndani ya serikali ya Sonko na Limbogo tutatenga mabilioni ya pesa, tuhakikishe tunatenga zile pesa, tunawapatia wale wa mama na nyinyi vijana mfanye biashara, muweze kutengeneza pesa kwa mifuko yenu.
Addressing the locals, Kalonzo maintained he is best suited to deputize Raila Odinga and he will not subject himself to any interview.
Mimi na ndugu yangu Raila tumetoka mbali, si kweli? Wangapi anataka watampigia Raila kura? Wangapi anataka nani? Basi msifadhaike. Ukisikia Raila na Kalonzo wameshikana, ujue Kenya imepokelewa pia, imeokolewa. Lakini wengine hapo waache kucheza, si ndio? Hata wananifanyia interview. Hapana.
Legends Edition from Mombasa County. I am Anburu.
Well, it has been a very, very eventful weekend. It still continues to be eventful. And of course, we wish you a wonderful weekend ahead. We will be taking a break, but when we come back, a pioneer editor in the first privately owned television station in Kenya and mainland East Africa will be talking to us this evening. So please don't go away. Look out for The Living Legend tonight. I am Catherine Kasavuli. I am a living legend, but we have another living legend who will be joining us this evening. So please don't go away. Stay with us.
Ili kupata daktari wa tumbo kama sikiza tuni yako, bonyeza *811 *396#.
Alo, daktari. Nimekula githeri sahani ya kwanza, sahani ya pili, alafu sahani ya tatu. Nikapandilia avocado 2. Wakanilazimisha na mchele vijiko 7. Nikamalizia na kusafisha.
Kupata daktari wa tumbo, dial *811 *396#. *811 *396#.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Differently abled, differently.
Actually, I didn't want it to stay because it was so painful. So when the doctor came and told me that they needed to amputate, I was so happy because it was so painful. I could not sleep. Yeah, it was not working again, and then I could just feel it inside me.
A neighbor decided to boil some water and actually pour on me, thinking that I'm going to turn black in color. And I still have the scars here with me.
Differently abled, differently.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation journalist Safin Acheng has been honored by the Media Council of Kenya for highlighting the plight of Kenyan women suffering from fistula. Safin scooped the Best Health Reporting Award in the television category on a night that also saw KBC's Lourdes Walusala bag the Innovation and Business Radio Category Award for her story on the resilience of women-led small, medium enterprises during the COVID-19 period.
Fin Achieng, KBC.
According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 50,000 to 100,000 women worldwide.
It was a big night for the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Safina Acheng Ouma was named the Best Health Reporter in the television category for telling the story of Kenyan women who have carried the burden of fistula.
It is something that shows me that whatever work I have been doing as a journalist has been recognized in such a platform. It's such an honor for me as a journalist to be carrying this award. As I look at it, I see it as a very big responsibility because it is just like it has set a bar for me to keep doing, to keep working on myself, to keep polishing my skills, and to keep telling stories that are solution-oriented, that contribute to, fighting for the rights of those who are vulnerable in the society.
And that was not all for KBC. Lourdes Walusala emerged the best reporter in the Innovation and Business Radio category for her story on the resilience of women-led small and medium enterprises during the COVID-19 period.
I feel so happy. I know production is a lot of work. So winning this award, I say, and I thank English Service for giving me the platform to just do my stories and air them for me.
A standing ovation, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's all stand up.
Also honored at the annual Journalism Excellence Awards Gala was the Legends Edition anchor Catherine Kasavuli and veteran producer Rachel Nakitare, who received the Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Just be true to yourself and never lose sight of what you want to do. Tomorrow is another day. Your mistake today is actually your step to your success tomorrow.
Yeah. Fantastic.
KBC KBC Assistant Editor-in-Chief Millicent Awor noted the big night was as a result of hard work and recognition of KBC as a formidable player in the broadcast industry.
This award is also an encouragement to all our reporters, radio, TV, across the 13 stations that we have on radio and even the digital platform, that you can actually make it. Your story can be recognized throughout this country, and I believe the entire nation.
I am here as a journalist.
The annual Journalism Excellence Awards is a continuous celebration of journalistic excellence and achievement. It recognizes the input of Kenyan journalists in the Kenya's development agenda. For the Legends Edition, I'm Zainab.
Well, I started here in 1980, and today we are receiving this in recognition of how impactful Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and then Voice of Kenya was and is. Well, we wish everybody else all the best, and we wish them awards as well. The process of canonizing, the process of canonizing Venerable Edel Quinn, who died in 1944 at the age of 36 years, has kicked off in Nairobi. Edel Quinn, who was buried at St. Mary's Msangari in Nairobi, was beatified by the Pope in 1967. In 1957 for her dedication to evangelization in the Catholic Church during her prime years. Emeritus Archbishop of Nairobi, Archdiocese John Cardinal Njue, led a mass Saturday for the 78th anniversary of Venerable Edel Quinn, who surmounted all odds to spread the word of God.
At the St. Mary's Church in Loreto Msongari, Nairobi, hundreds of the Catholic faithful gathered to hold one of the unique masses, Eucharistic celebration on the 78th anniversary of the death of the Venerable Edel Quinn.
The importance of this day that we celebrate today, we call it the anniversary mass of Venerable Edel Quinn. Edel Quinn was born in Ireland in 1907. And in 1938, she was sent to Kenya by the then leader of the Legion of Mary, Frank Duff, to come and spread the good news of Jesus Christ, but above all, by bringing the Legion of Mary into East and Central Africa.
After the Mass, the congregants had an opportunity to visit the grave of the Venerable Edel Quinn, who was buried at the St. Mary's ground at the Missionaries Cemetery, to make their petition.
Legion of Mary is a Marian movement, a movement that puts Mary in the forefront, because Mary is the mother of Jesus Christ and therefore the mother of the church. And being the mother of the church, then the Catholic Church gives a lot of emphasis on Mary as the mother of Jesus, the mother of the church.
Venerable Edel Quinn set sail for Africa from Tilbury in London in 1936, a journey that took her to Uganda, Kenya, Tanganyika and Zanzibar, introducing the liturgical group Legion of Mary to other countries, including Malawi and Mauritius.
Every year we come here to pray that her soul may rest in peace, but above all, that the church may recognize her heroic way of life as a good way that Christians can follow. That is, make her a saint. That's why we talk about the course of Edel Quinn. A course is praying and for the process of one becoming a saint.
The Irish-born Roman Catholic lay missionary died in Nairobi on May 12, 1994, aged 37. The cause for her beatification was introduced in 1957 and she was declared venerable by Pope John Paul II on 15 December 1994 when the campaign for her beatification continued. Purity Museo, The Legends Edition.
The government has commissioned the construction of Wilikilye Katulani Water Road to bitumen standards. The road will connect Kitui, Makueni counties, and it's expected to ease transportation between the two counties.
Speaking during the launch at Katulani Ward, Principal Secretary, Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, Professor Paul Maringa, said the government has so far constructed 1,914 kilometers in the Lower Eastern, and it's looking forward to construct more starting from July this year.
Jubilee ishajenga barabara huku Lower Eastern of a value of 30.5 billion Kenya shillings. So the total amount of money for those completed and those we are building is about 60 billion Kenya shillings. So total, tukimaliza hii barabara zote na zitaongezeka, Lower Eastern will have close to 100 billion shillings worth of roads.
Elsewhere, Kenya Hemophilia Association, in conjunction with the county government of Laikipia, has opened a specialized clinic at Nanyuki Health Service Hospital.
Accessibility is about, can the citizen get quality health service where they need it, when they need it.
This is the fourth of such facility in the country and will go a long way in reducing costs for hemophilia patients in the central region. Meanwhile, learning was disrupted at Kiboram High School after residents and parents took to the road to demonstrate against poor performance at the school.
Na malalamishi yoyote ile, tufuate sheria. Sawa sawa? Sawa. Na ndiposa sisi tulikuja kukaa na board. Tuwasikize, tujue ni shida ni nini. Na mwelekeo ni huu. Kama kuna shida, kuna ofisi ya elimu. Mnaandika mambo yenu na mnatuletea.
Elsewhere, a survey conducted by Performance Monitoring for Action has shown 48% of adolescents in Kericho County aged between 15 and 19 years old are engaging in sex. The stakeholders say the findings are worrying, with some ending up with early pregnancies.
As Kericho County, we are discussing with the teams to see how then do we solve the issues of teenage pregnancies and how do we avail family planning methods to our women so that they have a wide range of choices within our facilities.
And three suspected Al-Shabaab militants who allegedly planned to carry out attacks across the region during the Easter holidays have been released on a 500,000 shillings bond and surety of a similar amount, or a cash bail of 200,000 shillings each. While granting the accused their conditional freedom, Mombasa Senior Principal Magistrate Vincent Adet directed the trio to be reporting to their anti-terror police unit daily beginning Monday 9th until 21st of June this year, when the case will be heard again. The accused, Osman Mohammed Hassan, Mohammed Ibrahim Hassan and Hussein Ibrahim Hassan, who are Somali nationals, were arrested on 13th of April by anti-terror police officers in areas of Kasavuli, Barsheba, Mombasa County, following an intelligence report from members of the public. Jacqueline Masharia for Legends Edition.
Uchaguzi mkuu wa tarehe 9 Agosti utabadilisha pakubwa taswira ya kisiasa ya taifa hili. Je, hii inamaanisha nini kwako wewe mpiga kura? Kila Jumapili saa 12 jioni, jiunge nao Gladys Mungai na Harith Salim kwenye makala yetu ya Kenya ya Amua, ambapo pamoja na wadau mbalimbali watajadili na kudadavua kwa kina michakato ya uchaguzi. Fanya uamuzi wa busara. Usikose kutazama Kenya ya Amua kila Jumapili kwenye runinga uipendayo ya KBC Channel 1.
Aha, msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, karibu tena kwenye kipindi kinajulikana kama Rada ni Yesu. Kila Jumapili kinaletwa kwako na rubani unayempenda anajulikana kama Mr. Rafton Igi. Ungana nami kila Jumapili kuanzia mida ya saa 12 mpaka saa 1 usiku. Kuna muziki noma sampuli hii. Najua
na nitaona mazuri.
Mwambia mpenzi msikilizaji, ni kunang ni kukaskush. Kila Jumapili ninakuletea miziki za mavijana. Kama wewe ni kijana na unataka injili kamili, utaipata hapa. Tuonane Jumapili hii.
Sauti ya Mkenya.
Good evening. Once again, it's a big welcome to the Legends edition of the sports segment. I'm Topi Liambila, and I'm glad you're watching. Now, in the highlights tonight of the sports desk, Omanyala shines at the Kip Keino Classic in Kasarani, Embu Sevens and the NBA semi-final zone. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta says Kenya has the capacity to host major international events and is ready to host the 2025 World Athletics Championships. President Uhuru said the successful hosting of the 2017 World Athletics Under-18 Championships and the 2021 World Athletics Under-20 Championships is an indication the country is capable of hosting major events. Kenya has already bid to host the 2025 World Athletics Championships alongside Japan, Poland, and Singapore. Take a listen.
Times as well.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta joined thousands of athletics fans at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani, Nairobi, for the third edition of the Kip Keino Classic. Speaking when he officially opened the event, the president was quick to note that Kenya has the capacity to host international events.
And we are truly hopeful that after successfully concluding this event in 2025, Kenya will be the first African country to host the International Athletics World Championship. And this is our endeavor, because this is without doubt home to the sports champions of the world.
Uhuru said it will be a big achievement if Kenya becomes the African country to host the 2025 World Athletics Champions. In some of the main races, 100 meters African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala showed great prowess and won the 100 meters final. Omanyala clocked a time of 9.85 seconds and emerged victorious ahead of second-placed finisher Olympic medalist Fred Kelly of the United States of America. Isaiah Young of the United States was third, clocking 10.13 seconds.
It was good. I felt good. The atmosphere was fantastic. When I heard my name and the fans in the stadium, thank you so much, Kenya. You were fabulous, and I just wanted to execute a very good race.
A lot of speed, it took a lot of speed, not endurance. So it feels way different than the 5K, but it's been a while since I did a 1500 meter race. So it's good to be back, and it's good to at least get a race in. And my big goal was to race in Nairobi, Kasarani Stadium, and it's fun. It's fun.
Well, I think I couldn't help loving that natural look from Shelly-Ann Fraser. Well, the hosts Posta Rangers lost 2-0 to Bandari in a closely contested Kenya Premiership League match played at the Thika Municipal Stadium. Meanwhile, Ulinzi Stars humbled Bidco United by a single goal to 0.
After a slow start, Kigandemi scored the opening goal for the Dockers in the 60th minute. Johanna Muita added the second in the 70th minute to ensure Bandari backed maximum points. In another match, Ulinzi Stars humbled host Bidco United 1-0. Masita Masuta scored the lone goal for Ulinzi Stars in the 23rd minute. Following the win, Bandari are now placed third on the log with 50 points, while Ulinzi Stars occupy position 12 with 34 points.
And on rugby, Embu Sevens defending champions Menengai Oilers put a spirited fight on day one of the tournament to advance to the quarter-finals. The teams played at the Njukiri Showgrounds in Embu County. The return of Embu Sevens now 16 teams divided into 4 pools taking part. Menengai Oilers, Top Fry, Masinde Muliro University, Strathmore, Black Blood, Batuk, Meru RFC and Meru University booked their places in the quarter-finals. The quarter-finals and semi-finals and the finals will be played on Sunday at the same grounds. Some of the action.
Games imekuwa poa, mafano wamekuja imebamba. The games imekuwa a bit tough. Hiyo competition ndo tumekuwa tukitaka for a long time, tumeitafuta, tumebidi tutoke Western tukuje mpaka Embu, and it's a good event. We are hoping for the best tomorrow.
Kumaliza the day without conceding any try. Ina look poa. We're just focusing on the next game. Yeah.
A Volleyball Africa Club, the 2022 Men's African Volleyball Club Championships will serve off on Sunday in Kelibia, Tunisia. The drawing of lots was held this evening ahead of the kickoff. Kenya will be represented by Kenya Ports Authority and Equity Bank after regulars JSU and Prisons Kenya withdrew citing logistical issues. In the last edition of the African Volleyball Club Championships held in Tunisia last year, KPA finished 5th overall. Equity Bank will be making their debut at the Continental Showpiece.
We are here to play all the matches with the best, to play our best volleyball and show to the world that Cameroon is still one of the best teams in Africa.
On the international scene, Chelsea has agreed terms on the 4.25 billion sterling pounds sale of the club to a consortium led by Todd Bowley, co-owner of the LA Dodgers baseball team. The club was put up for sale before owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned for his alleged links to Russian President Vladimir Putin following the invasion of Ukraine. A Chelsea statement said the new owners will pay £2.5 billion for the club's shares. The proceeds will go into frozen bank account to be donated to charity. And on the NBA front, Joel Embiid returned from injury to help Philadelphia 76ers beat the Miami Heat 99-79 in a Game 3 of the NBA Eastern Conference semi-final series. In the Western Conference playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks ended an 11-game losing streak against the Phoenix Suns after registering a 103-94 victory to cut their deficit to 2-1.
Joel Embiid scored 18 points and a game-high 11 rebounds in a 99-79 victory to trail 2-1 in the best-of-7 series.
So that's something to watch here. Embiid.
Jimmy Butler led the Heat with a game-high 33 points and 9 rebounds, while James Harden added 17 points.
Tag racing in for 2. Game 2 in Miami.
Meanwhile, Dallas Mavericks ended an 11-game losing streak against the Phoenix Suns in their Western Conference playoffs after registering a 103-94 victory to cut their deficit to 2-1.
The pass from his hand bottoms. Brunson on the probe.
Jalen Brunson led the Mavericks with 28 points, while Luka Doncic narrowly missed out on a triple-double for Dallas, finishing with 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Height advantage. Great move inside for the bucket.
And with a big thank you to our roving reporters Dan Mwendwa, Karanja David, Kings and Dion, I'm Topi Lembila signing off this evening and expecting you to join us again next weekend for another Bamba edition of the sports segment of the Legends Edition coming Saturday. Good evening and thanks for watching.
Éramos los que éramos ayer y los que seremos.
Mommy, please.
I can't believe you had the nerve to lie to me.
Forgive me, Mom. I know. I should have done everything in a very different way, but trust me that I didn't have a choice.
Of course you did.
But what happened with Renee got me thinking. It made me say that you were absolutely right, and I can't afford to lose them because of a situation like this.
I can't do half and half. I'm either with you or I'm not.
I'm old enough. I have to live my own life. You have to live yours too. Listen, we're going to live in the same city. We can see each other often, but you will have your own home.
Listen.
No, it has been decided. Is that clear?
Differently abled, differently.
Actually, I didn't want it to stay because it was so painful. So when the doctor came and told me that they needed to amputate, I was so happy because it was so painful. I could not sleep. Yeah, it was not working again, and then I could just feel it inside me.
A neighbor decided to boil some water and actually pour on me, thinking that I'm going to turn black in color. And I still have the scars here with me.
Differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. As we told you earlier on at the beginning of this bulletin that we were going to host a remarkable woman, a virtuous woman, yes, in the media industry, a woman who has mentored many. I call myself her protege, and she is with us today, and she's going to walk us through the media gate, which has evolved quite a bit. So please welcome Rose Lukalo Owino, a journalist by excellence. Thank you for joining us on Living Legends. As I told you a little earlier on, that we're going to talk to a wonderful woman of valor, a woman of virtue, a woman who has served this nation quietly behind the scenes but very impactfully. Of course, the country has been in a very somber mood, you know, for the last 1 week, but right now we are shaking it off and we are beginning to celebrate this son of the country that we had just lost. This woman has something to say about this great son in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome a great daughter of this nation, none other than Rose Lukalo Owino. Please welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And that was a very effusive introduction. But thank you.
Oh my goodness, you work in the background, you know, we don't see you a lot. But of course, you know, you have such an impact wherever you go. You know, you have a trail of impact, and of course, you've mentored so many people. Need I say more? I mean, you are my boss, so you know, long time ago. This was at the inception of KTN.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
One
we did
of
work well together.
That is very, very true.
Very vibrant time.
Amen. Yes. Thank you. Sorry. If I'm allowed to say that.
Yes.
Well, this was a very delicate time. What was it like for you? You know, a woman exceeding the glass ceiling in the media industry.
It's quite a trip to go back 30 years.
Yes.
But I think I've been very lucky in that the bosses that I've had have always empowered me.
Yes.
They haven't looked at me as a woman. They have given me the job to do and expected me to do it. Yes. And, you know, it was a huge challenge. And I think having that backing, having people who back you was very instrumental, both when I was in print, before I moved to KTN, and then when I moved to KTN, extraordinary bosses who were also willing to take risks. You asked about the time, like you say, very delicate time. We were moving from a period of, dictatorship, essentially. We had an extremely forceful president in Daniel Arap Moi, and basically emerging from a time when there was it brooked no questions. Whether you talk about the previous Kenyatta era, whether you talk about the ensuing Daniel Arap Moi era, which is where I began to work, really, So you talk about a time of a lot of detentions without trial. You talk of a time of a lot of, interference with businesses, interference with television, control of television. We were breaking the mold from patterns where the president was everything, was the top of the news, was the end of the news, was the middle of the news. We were trying to really just come to a place where we were talking, we could speak to what's important for people. Yeah. And, of course, it was risky, but like I said, I was empowered to go with what I know is right, in my judgment, of course. Right is different for different people.
Exactly, there are no gray areas.
Yes, but I didn't have to think 3 times about what was most important.
Yes.
I did have to think about the sensitivities. There were so many business interests. There were so many powerful men, mostly men, calling the newsroom. They don't tell you who they are. They're asking you for your boss. Why did you put on a story? Those kind of questions, So, and then don't forget, we had a very forceful special branch 2 floors above us, who were always checking on us during the day. You step wrong. They're all my friends now, the times have changed. But at that particular point, you had to be cautious about how you angle the story, what stories you cover, and who you send to cover it.
You operated during a time, this was the advent for the clamor for multi-party democracy.
Absolutely, yeah.
The early 90s. How did you maneuver? These were very, very, these were uncharted waters. How did you navigate them?
I think the story that was coming out at that time, in hindsight again, I guess we were talking to civil society, right?
Yes.
And the story coming out of civil society, the voices coming out of civil society were really, really strong. I think also remember, we were the first private television station. There had never been another channel for them to voice their opinions. So we're talking about voices that now are well established.
Yes.
We're talking about the William Tungas, we're talking about the Martha Karuas, you're talking about Professor Wanjiku Kabira, Njoki Ndung'u, you're talking about Martin Shikuku's, all these people, they had organized in a really, really loud voice, particularly around the legal. Although there were others like the late Anyona, the Anyang Nyong'o, who is now governor, They were all kind of raising this voice and telling us, no, we don't want our freedoms curtailed. We want to be free. We want an opposition in parliament. We don't want dictatorship anymore. And it was a very interesting voice when you contrast it with what had been there. The president said, the president said, the president said, the president wants, the president thinks. And then you have this other voice. So we, in many respects, decided to bring both voices together, and it became like a conversation, automatically sort of catapulting us to the top of ratings. And our motivation each day was, what are we going to say that is relevant, that is different, that is meaningful? And that was our focus. We didn't focus too much on
the politics.
The politics.
No.
The politics, yeah. We didn't...
No, even the mudslinging.
The mudslinging, no. It was issues, very much issues, what's relevant, who's saying what about that issue. And that really catapulted us and gave us a good standing and a good base.
KTN was the first privately owned television station in the entire East Africa.
By the way, yes, it was. It was.
Because when Uganda, wanted to open their private television station, they actually borrowed stuff from KTN.
Yes, they did.
The same thing goes to Tanzania. There was a television station called ITV. They even took our general manager.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yes, Mike Rolls.
Oh, okay.
Went to help them, set up. And of course, Dixon, yes, the Australian guy.
Yes, that's
the Australian guy, yes. So I just want to look at a situation where, everybody in East Africa was watching us very keenly because we were on UHF aerial, which you could actually get if you had very strong equipment, wherever you were.
Yes.
Now, we were exposing a part of Kenya or a part of politics that had never been sampled in East Africa.
Exactly. Yes.
You are very candid and you are very truthful. I read the bulletins and I used to read it sitting on the edge because I know special branch are just upstairs, downstairs are dungeons, so how do you escape this, So you paid an ultimate price for speaking the truth and giving the news as it is while you were at KTN.
Yeah.
And this was during Moi's era.
Right.
Of course, later on we got to learn that Moi owned KTN. At that time, I don't know if we knew, we just didn't, we just saw our privates.
Yes.
Please walk us through this.
The ownership of KTN actually has always been very murky.
Yes.
So it started off as a party paper.
Yes.
Kenya Times Media Trust.
Yes.
So there was the Kenya Times paper.
Yes.
And I was working at Kenya Times, right?
Okay.
And at some point, they kind of ran into financial problems. And that's the point when now Robert Maxwell's people came in. They put in like a big bunch of money. And they bought a printing press for the paper, state-of-the-art printing press. And then they pumped money into KTN. KTN had been on air for a couple of months, I think, by the time I was joining, just a couple of months.
Yes.
But already I think the stress of running running a TV station is not a joke. It's big business. You must have the money to put in. And so Maxwell's people did put in some money, and he also sent people, I guess, to oversee his interests.
Yes.
But I think that we kind of forgot this KTN interest, the party interest, and the party was controlled by the president, So I'm not sure at what point it went from being a party paper to having presidential interests or anything. Those days you didn't ask, you couldn't get the information.
No, of course not.
Not like today, you can go online and search businesses. You have free, the Access to Information Act, which allows you to ask.
Yes.
All of these are things which we've been fighting for over the years, that we should have access to public information.
Yes.
The Office of the Attorney General is run, it is for the public. It is not his or the president's. It is ours. It's our information. But at that time, you couldn't ask for information. You could be jailed for asking information. You could be jailed for following a story, a particular story or an interest,
That's true.
And so I think while we had the protection, we had the protection of Maxwell's people, we were monitored every day by the powers that be. And you remember Christmas Day, 91?
Yes.
Christmas Day tends to be slow. I came in first and heard that the late president, Mwai Kibaki, had been calling. He wasn't president, of course, then. He had been finance minister. We at KTN had been expecting him actually to defect from KANU and join the growing voices in the opposition. It wasn't a formal opposition. They were still pushing for repeal and for multi-party repeal of Section 2A to allow multi-party democracy. So we had covered him a little bit, you know, among the people who are likely, or, you know, we hear maybe considering it is Mwai Kibaki. But this had been going on for almost 2 months, you know.
I remember. And
he hadn't said anything. We had pursued him and he just did not respond.
Yes.
And now I arrive at the TV station and I hear he's been looking for us. And the news, of course, that day was that he had decided to leave KANU and to leave his position as minister in Moi's cabinet. I thought, great news. This is a great news bulletin.
Headlines.
It was.
My.
And I spoke to the man, so
Yes.
I knew it's true. It didn't come in a press statement. It didn't, come through a third party.
No.
I spoke to him. And so, of course, we put it on air. I remember the next person to come in was the late Wangui Gashie.
Yes.
You remember her?
Yes, I remember her.
And she hadn't even come prepared to read news or anything. So we had this situation where she borrowed, I don't know if it was
Somebody's
your
jacket,
dress or
yes.
Kathleen's or somebody else's dress in order to go on air and read this.
Yes.
Groundbreaking news.
Yes.
And so we put it on. I think we put it on 3 times. We put it on at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then we had a full bulletin at 1 o'clock.
1, yes.
I'm not sure who read it. Was it you?
Did,
you
yes.
did. By the time you finished reading it, I had been told to go home.
You're attending the Editors Guild meeting somewhere. You know, can you just give us a highlight of what you are going to discuss? Because you are a digital person. We want to look at the evolution. How has digital migration affected the media? Is it in a positive way, and should we look forward to it, or are there adjustments we can make?
Digital has really digital technologies, because it's not just the broadcasting anymore. It has. I think we now have something like 70 television stations.
Yes.
Some I've never even heard of. You know, we have 100 and something radio stations, and literally we're talking about moving from one state broadcaster to all this. And then we have social media.
Yes.
And you can see just an eruption of information. I think people are really struggling even to keep up with who's telling the truth, what's valuable, where do I get, which is my source of information. It has completely liberalized the media in many aspects. We can never complain again of having only one.
No.
But I think the challenge now that we have is the misuse of media, the disinformation, misinformation, and the appropriation of certain channels. So we still have constraints when we talk about media ownership. There's still a lot of political interests in there, and we don't have any of the big ones that we can say are completely free.
Now, talking about political interests, let's talk about surveilling journalists. You know,
yes,
we've actually walked through that.
Yeah.
But now, the digital era, if somebody is going to be monitoring you while you are online, they can actually pinpoint where you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's really dangerous.
Yes, and the problem we have in Kenya is we don't have rules to guide who can and for what purpose. It's supposed to only be used, we're only supposed to be surveilled in order to protect us and to protect other people from abuse by others. But we don't have rules that clearly state that. So we see, I got phone messages from a political candidate. How did they get my number? You know? How did they get my number? Because they sent messages very specifically in the ward where I live.
Hey.
Yes. So that is now, we have privacy issues.
That's it.
You know? We have surveillance issues, and all these are abuse because the Constitution is supposed to protect me from all this.
What is the future of digital journalism?
Digital journalism is everything. Everything is going digital. We need to prepare for it. It's really heartwarming to see that Kenyans are taking to the digital space. Everybody talks about Kenyans, you know, and you know, Kenyans have become a reference point.
Yes.
But we need the laws in place.
Yes.
We need more training and more people pioneering in that space, so that we can take advantage. It's not only about facilitating media. It's also about things like copyright, protecting journalists' copyright, you know, to their stories. Nowadays, people just copy your story. You go out, you do a good story, put your byline on it, people take it, they remaster it, change it, use it differently, you know, I mean, it becomes something else.
And take ownership.
And take ownership of something that should...
Plagiarism.
Yeah, plagiarism and those kind of things. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on so many levels, in media houses as well as in the framework for the policy
war on
framework.
fake news.
Yes, that's what I'm involved
how
in
will
now.
this be won, if at all?
Well, I mean, I think if you monitor what's happening, that's something I'm doing right now.
Yes.
I'm on a project called Fumbua, which brings together multiple media houses that are addressing fake news, particularly around the coming elections, you know. So Fumbua is a project of Baraza Media Lab. And these are young people who are actually, I'm the grandmother in the group, but, you know, I work with them.
A very young one at that.
But these are the effort to combat it, to amplify, to tell people and warn them to be careful about what they read is multi-pronged. So there's the layer of media literacy. People need to be more savvy, more critical when you see something and ask more questions. Where did it come from? What kind of authority do they have? Is it backed by any research or documentation? You know, all these kind of things. And I think we will see a return to trusting media houses. It may not be the same ones, so we have to be careful. The big media houses have to be careful that they remain relevant.
Yes.
But I think people will return to trusting major media houses. But at the same time, what you see also online, there are many, many tools that are evolving to you know, you can now trace fake news. You know, you can undo it, you can undo a picture and see the original source of that picture. Like you say, people are now using geolocation tools to be able to
navigate and
find the source of a video, to find the creator of a video.
Which in some instances it's good.
Yes.
But I think there has to be a limit.
And that's where the law comes in. The limit should be that I should not violate somebody else's rights.
Privacy, yes.
Rights.
Privacy and rights, yes.
Yes. If I'm stepping on your rights, then I shouldn't be allowed to do whatever it is I'm doing. You know?
That's very true.
But we don't have any framework, and we don't have the awareness. There's a lot of misinformation.
You are an award-winning journalist, veteran journalist, and of course you have been working, is it media research policy or something?
Yeah, Media Policy Research Center.
Yes. So of course, you know, you are kitted for...
We try to remain relevant. It's still a long journey. I love the way the media has evolved, you know. You know, the inclusion of women in everything, you know. When we were working, there were so few.
Yes.
Today they're everywhere, in every role. The evolution of even just education. We've got really smart journalists and professionals working in the media at all levels, you know, doing really fancy stuff. Like I say, Kenya is on the map. So I think it's really, we've achieved a lot.
And last night, of course, you were awarded something. What was that?
I got an award for a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
From the
Media Council
Council of Kenya.
Yes, and I saw quite a number of women, won some.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Actually, the Journalist of the Year went to a young lady as well,
Absolutely.
And well, I was also a recipient, so
nice.
Yes,
well, congratulations.
Thank you, darling. And you too.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So there you have it. We have been talking to Mrs. Rose Lukalo Owino, a veteran journalist. She still is my mentor, my big sister, and of course a woman who makes an impact in the media industry. Thank you so much for watching Living Legend on Legends Edition this Saturday evening. Well, that was our guest, Rose Lukalo, talking to us about the future of digital journalism. And of course, she received the same award as I did. Well, it's been a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Legends Edition has been fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you also enjoyed it. So please be blessed, and thank you for your immense contribution towards my journey in the media industry. I give God all the glory, and I thank you all for being part of this journey. Thank you. I love you.